and welcome to the 5 secrets to reclaim your energy to prevent burnout and attract more clients in your business. I'm walking into my foyer. I've got a suit on and I collapse in this suede leather chair. I'm 25 years old. I've just grossed 6 figures in my business, and yet I am so burned out that I can't literally physically stand up anymore. And I think to myself, oh my gosh, this is not sustainable. I'm already burned out in my early 20s. Fast forward, I decided to eventually sell my practice to another advisor and go on sabbatical to figure out what really makes my heart happy, start a family. I water birth my son, I write a children's book, I travel the world. Life is awesome, except our bank account, which is at 0. In fact, we're on food stamps. I remember I was at the store and I had just figured out which beans I could buy with my EBT card. And as we're at the checkout, the lady's like, wait. And she's like, hey! And I'm like, and she's like, these beans you can't get these with these. And she's like, we just swap it out. And I'm like, oh my gosh. In that moment, I was like, never again. I am not going here. It's time to make a shift. So I decided I'm going to go back into the workforce. My son's still like 2.5, so my husband quits full-time to come be a stay-at-home dad. And now I've got a house, a spouse, and a kid to support as a sole breadwinner. And so I do what I enjoy but not love, and start my second business in event consulting for social impact. And I land myself in the tech industry, and I'm working with these, Google and these awesome entrepreneurs for like 35 hours a week. Money's great. I've got a couple side clients and this big retainer. However, I'm running the equivalent of like 4 weddings at the same time, nonstop. And again, I burn out in now my early 30s. And I'm thinking, crap, it's not possible to grow without burning out. So fast forward, and I finally pivot that business into what I do now today, which is conscious business coaching and helping people grow without burnout. And it was only after I cracked the code and figured out, okay, if I can prove that you can do what you love and make lots of money, that I had to prove that first, and then also take lots of time off, then the dream is real. And I did it, right? In a few years span, we paid off $67,000 in debt. A lot of it was student loans. We became debt-free. We maxed our retirements. I grew 6 figures in my business last year and took 9 weeks off of vacation. That's the big piece, right? So then I found myself in a different predicament of like, oh my gosh, there's so much success. And now I could get burned out again from good problems, right? And that's what I help all my clients do now, because again, I have found a middle way of balance without the burnout. And that's what I help conscious business leaders do. So I share all of that just so that you can see why I'm passionate about balance and growth without the burnout, and to show you that it is possible. So I'm here to tell you that it is possible, and we've done it now many times over with our clients. So for you, in your energetic journey, what I found was the key is between mind, body, heart, and soul, something was always not aligned in one of the businesses I had. And so when I finally got energetically aligned, mind, body, heart, and soul with my current business, then things took off when I could trust that. So for you in your business right now, or if you're thinking about starting a business and you're in a corporate environment or in some sort of other profession, think about what is it right now where you are really energetically aligned with your mind, body, heart, and soul. And you can just take a journal out, hit pause, and then also think about where you are not and what that feels like. So you're going to journal where you are energetically aligned in life. It doesn't have to be just in your profession or business, and then where you're not. I just want you to get a sense of that difference, and so you can recognize it when it's coming your way or not. After that, the next piece I want to say is why. Why does energy mastery to prevent burnout even matter? And it might be obvious, but there are some global macro trends to at least be aware of in the background. So first off, we have constant information overload. It just keeps growing. 90% of the entire human civilization's data was generated within 2 years, and this was a statistic from 2 or 3 years ago, so now it's old. It's probably more extreme. Can you imagine all of civilization? So that means our brains are processing like so much more than ever before. And our obviously technology apps that makes us more productive, efficient, just also we have to output more, or that's what's expected. So it's not sustainable, right? And then second, we have decision overwhelm. That's just, there's too many choices right? Whether it's a supermarket or opening up your laptop. And then number 3, we are dealing with constant change. 65% of preschoolers today, this is an old statistic, like 5 years old, are going to be in jobs that don't yet exist. So even my son, who's 9 right now, that's a lot of adaptation happening. And then lastly is the 4th thing is distractions or disruptions that are happening externally and internally. So those are the playing field that we have to be mindful of versus trying to do the same things that worked like 5 years ago or even like last year that just don't anymore. Like things are just don't. So as our whole landscape continues to change, take a moment right now, hit pause again, and just journal. What are the ways that you are distracted? What are your biggest energy patterns? You are a cup, right? And energy is the water pouring through, and you just got holes in your cup. Because we want to plug those up today with the 5 secrets to really reclaim your energy. So take a moment, hit pause, and just write down what are the areas that are energy drains for you. They could be external, like the news or social media, or someone in your life, or it could be internal, like emotions, constant doubt or anger that flares up. So take a moment and do that. And these are your energy drains that we're gonna plug up with some solutions. Okay, welcome back. And next what we have is the actual 5 secrets you've been waiting for, which is the acronym ALIVE. So A stands for add more yin to your yang. Have you noticed? We live in a super yang-dominated culture. Yes, I might equate that to masculine, whether you're male or female or transgender or anything in between, doesn't matter. It's just that driven, perform, bottom line, more, and it's bankrupt. Like it's unsustainable. So yin, in terms of your time, is where are your yin times? Where are they intentionally placed? My clients, usually they come in without actually having much of a quarterly plan or an annual plan. It's kind of random or intuitive. And so we get them on a track to be able to do that. I'm going to share a story of Stephanie, right? So she's one of my clients, and every day normally she'd come home and drink her glass of wine to decompress, work a long 14-hour day, decompress, watch maybe drink a glass of wine, start up again, drink the coffee, and it's just like from coffee to wine, decompress, undecompress, and it just was like that for like a whole quarter. And so first thing we did was block out that yin time, that week off every quarter. I do recommend that at least 4 weeks a year, ideally 6. 9 weeks was a little much for me, but find your balance. Just don't try to put like a whole month at once, right? You kind of want to space apart so you have that constant cycle of the yin with the yang, right? And this symbol is in a lot of Eastern philosophies, and it's on the Korean flag. I'm Korean American. It's a balancing, right? You bring the duality into one. When you honor the yin, you want to block off that yin time, and then quarterly also have yin time. Okay, so yin time, Stephanie. So there she is doing the drudgery, the hamster wheel, and we interrupt that. We block off a time to go see her family. Even if you can't travel right now, you can still create it within your space, a sacred silent retreat for yourself. And then, so she had that to look forward to, and she knew that was coming every quarter. And then next we looked at her team, and she was able to delegate a whole, she hated, emails and paying bills, but she felt like no one else could do it, even though she knew she should delegate and she had staff to do it. But then she found out what her flow was, and that it would give joy to her staff to take care of the things that she actually hates, but they love. It was like swapped, right? So when she understood that freed up 3 hours a day that she was wasting on emails, instead doing her flow time. So flow time I kind of call yin time as well. That overall in your business you've determined, okay, here's the sweet spot of where I want to spend my time that would be a lot of yin for me versus a hard deadline or forcing myself to do something I really don't want to but should, that kind of thing. Anyway, so what she was able to do is free up 3 hours of time, go see her family, and during her busiest quarter, one of her competitors walked up and was like, "Are you still in business?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, how can you be posting flyers for this course?" And she's like, "I'm a business coach." So it's possible, right? Like in her busiest quarter to actually have had the luxury to go have fun. She started like a walking club, and she went singing, and and got everything done in our business. So it's possible, all right? Okay, so the next letter is L, which is listening within. Consider that we have a lot of conflicting advice when we go outside ourselves to ask, whether it's advisors or family members or colleagues, what do you think? What do you think about this decision? And then when they conflict, it's like even more confusing. So I want to train you to trust yourself. Go within, trust your inner advisors. I'm getting this from the book, Yes, Yes, Hell No, and it's by Brian Whitaker. And the 3 inner advisors are your intuition or your gut. We're going to call that the same advisor right now. And then your logic, rational brain, and then your fear. Could be also any sort of triggering emotion. So right now think of a decision. So you can hit pause again and just think about what's a decision that you can make that's either a small one or a big one. Sometimes it's, should I go more full-time, part-time, or transition from a corporate job? Maybe it could be, should I be retiring now? It could be, should I be hiring this person, firing them? What are the new opportunities to take up the new partnerships that make sense if you're in the growth mode? So wherever you are in the cycle of business, what's a decision that you have to make? Okay, now we're going to actively use it right now. So thinking about that decision, we're going to run through the 3 advisors. So first, what does your gut say? So ask yourself in the form like, should I hire this person or let this person go or fire this client or whatever? Okay, so ask your gut or intuition. They're the same thing, we're going to call that. Get a yes or no. Ask your logical brain. Ask the question again and then say, logical brain, what do you think? And either it's going to start rationalizing it or not. It's kind of muddled. That's a no. 3 is your fear. It might be silent. In that case, it's not a big deal. Or there might be a huge swelling of like a no. So if you get a yes, yes, no, that means go for it, because it's a very transformative move and decision that could break out of your glass ceiling to the next level. Generally speaking, if you get a no from the other 2, generally it's a no-go, I have found, but find for yourself as you utilize this simple tool. Next, we have I for invest in you. And this is all about the bigger you grow, the bigger the foundation you need to invest in you first. So even during the pandemic times, I was doing yoga and I had an hour each morning, sometimes 2, but that didn't cut it as I was dealing with so many new emotions and so many new variables, homeschooling, remote working, all this stuff. And so I had to up my game and give myself more silent retreats at home or get creative with 2 hours a day at a minimum, doing yoga every day instead of 3 times a week. I had to up my foundation. So that's invest in you is about unconscious competence habits that will support and nurture you. What I want you to do is think about the most nourishing thing for your soul that you can incorporate into your morning ritual. So if you already have one, you can just don't change what's working, but you then might look at more your bedtime ritual. So I'm going to give you 3 tiers. If you don't have a morning ritual or evening ritual, I highly recommend one. And start small, start simple. What's one thing that nourishes your soul? Is it taking a few deep breaths? Meditating for 5 minutes even? Going outside, walking consciously on the ground? Whatever those nourishing habits are for you, do that. Commit to that every day for the first 5 days, and then you can evaluate at the end of that to continue or not. For those of you who already have a morning ritual and evening ritual pretty established, maybe either expand or deepen what that is by tracking it more rigorously over a longer period of time. So if you're pretty reliable at doing it most of the days, try doing it 21 days in a row. That's the average length of an egg to incubate or hatch. Or then go to 49 days and then 100 days. So pick one right now to either embellish what you're already doing, or maybe it's starting a new habit, or to deepen an existing practice. And this is what will help you, again, keep that balancing act, right? Of balance, not burnout as you grow. It's a tension. It's never a calm state, because we sometimes have it I'll get to this calm place. And life is more like a tsunami, right? Where you gotta learn how to surf inside of it, because it's always changing, but you're still cool and you're still doing your thing. So that's our goal here, and that's what nourishes your soul, and creating a ritual, morning and at bedtime, can really assist you with. Next is value your fears. So this, I'm going to just tell a lot of stories with this one. I had some clients, and they were a wood flooring company, and they just worked around the clock, just servicing people, and they just weren't getting the time for themselves. So we sometimes, with the best of your intentions to, invest in you first, you're still not doing it because there's sometimes deeper fears behind it. With these clients, we got to the source of it. He's like, I'm like, what's going to happen if you don't answer that customer right away? What's going to happen? We were doing all these scenarios, and he's like, it's do or die, man, it's do or die. And I was like, huh. And I was like, well, what's that look like? And we actually experienced, we closed our eyes, what do or die looks like. Are you going to go homeless? And, we just went to the worst case scenario, and we really allowed and accepted that fear and experienced it. And then it kind of sounded ridiculous, right? When he actually let himself go all the way there. I just got a text not too long ago where he was showing me a picture of him on his boat, because that's what he loves to do, and was able, just by facing that fear and being able to value it as a teacher and guide, now automatically he was enticed to just go hang out and relax on the boat. Another example, in my pregnancy, I really wanted a water birth, and I was petrified to get a cesarean section or a C-section. And so I had to face my fear. And we did this exercise where I actually drew out a cesarean happening with little cartoons. And it looked so somber, and I was cut off from the baby, and there was a curtain there, and all the surgeons with their masks and sterile. And I faced it, and I was like, this could happen. This is a possibility. And by facing it, I was able to draw music. I was like, well, at least I could have music. At least I could do this. I added some colors, and I had added smiley eyes, and I was like, they're doing their best. And I felt at home, and I was really grateful for that fear as a teacher to guide me in just being with the worst case scenario. And then I ended up having a water birth. But I'm really certain, if I hadn't faced my fear, I know this sounds odd, but I probably would have gone a cesarean, because I would have resisted that fear so much that it would have persisted and happened. Next story, I wanted to share one last one, is a client that didn't want to hire someone because she was afraid they would become her greatest competitor. You pour so much energy into someone, if they're great, they're going to build their own thing and then leave you behind, or they're a subpar employee. So her fear, we got to the bottom of, was that I was confused why she wasn't just taking the actions. The moment we shifted, no, they're not your competitor, they're your legacy. Boom. She called a bunch of people that same day, had leads, referrals, and hired the person within a few days. Okay, so the last one is Energize your daily flow. And this is about movement, using your body, because just like numbers don't lie in business, your body doesn't lie. So we can listen to it and trust it. The way we can do this right now is through one exercise called pinky thumb. And you put both hands out like this, and you put your thumb out and your pinky out, and you close and you switch like this. Isn't that great? So you can do this for just a minute, anytime during the day, or even just a few seconds. It doesn't have to be a minute. And this integrates your right and left brain lobe and many things. Okay, so that's one example. You can do really fun ones. You can pull on your ears. Your ears have so many nerves that attach to different parts of your body and your organs, and just massaging them and taking the time to massage them feels so good. And my ears always kind of burn with a tingly sense. So the movement can be very general. You can do face squishies. You can talk garbly. My mentor calls it G-talk. It's just talk silly nonsense. You can do tapping your heart where there's just tension. You can do intestinals. You put both your thumbs on your tummy and you kind of do a crunch, and you suck your belly button into your spine, and it just heats up that area and brings all that hot tension down into your danjan, is a power center, a Korean word for power energy field, and it's the second chakra in Hindu culture. And you suck in, and as you keep pumping, you'll notice it getting hot. So you're now cooling your head off and heating up your belly, getting into the proper circulation. And you can tell because you'll have maybe saliva forming in your mouth, sweat coming out, or just you get hot. All good signs. Okay, I could go on and on. There's like infinite amounts of ways to energize your daily flow, but just pick a few that you can do throughout the day, maybe each time you go to the bathroom or when you get up and go to bed. Start simple with what you know you can do and then build up. Don't try to go for the moon right away. Otherwise you're setting yourself up to not to succeed. All right, so those are the 5 steps. So to recap, add more yin to your yang. Schedule that time off ideally every week, every month, quarter, and year. Find your rhythm of flow. L, listen within, the 3 inner advisors when you're making decisions. Invest in you first, building habits that really nourish your soul each morning and night. Value your fears as a teacher to then move through, accept, and embrace, and then energize your daily flow, which is bringing movement in your body into what you're doing throughout the day. When you do that, you're now able to better surf through the tsunami of life, no matter what chaos or what is happening, no matter how much uncertainty there is. By disciplining yourself in these habits, these energy principles, you can reclaim your energy. Thank you so much for listening. And for those of you who are interested, you can stay a little bit longer, but here's how you can get a hold of me. I will have my contact information available. It's annasunchoi.com is my website. If you want to learn more, there is a bunch of free resources. And if you are listening to this, I want to honor your time that you invested to even listen to this and give you a free Cut the Chaos consult that's normally $250. Yes, people pay that. It's a half-hour coaching call, and then if there's a fit and we resonate, then we can talk more about what that looks like. What we're talking about on the call is what are you dealing with right now, and where's your vision, and what are your energy drains, and then what's the gap. And so we want to determine your best next steps to take. No obligation. It's got to be a fit culturally between us anyway to even talk further, but I just want to serve and give back for you investing your time because I get it, you're busy, and thank you so much for being here. So just be sure to mention that and you can book a time on my website on the front page if that's of interest to you. And if it's not, no worries. And I do have a gift for you. So if you just want to email me at annasunchoi.com and just put gift, I will give you a special gift. All right. Thank you so much. All right.